Unfortunately, second time, the luck in Gladys' long life went against her. By 1865, Union declared victory against the Confederation and slavery was abolished within entire United States of America. Gladys and Samantha lost everything. The plantation, the slavery business, everything collapsed in a few short years. Running from the judgment of the Union soldiers, Gladys and Samantha had to separate and run in opposite ways. They swore to each other that they will find one another one day. Gladys moved back to the Pennsylvania, Philadelphia this time, and Samantha went towards south. Gladys established her new identity and had to work as commoner and adjust to completely new life. Being a witch was not easy when you are poor and hiding from the authorities, especially trying to lure victims for rejuvenation. Beginning of the 20th century, Gladys was aging fast. She was not anymore in her 20s and now she was reaching her 40s of a body age, and that was driving Gladys mad. She knew if she would not find a sustainable source of a victim soon, she would continue to age rapidly. But by 1914, Gladys' luck turned towards her. World War I started and by 1917, USA officially joined the war. Gladys used this opportunity to invade vulnerable victims, the ones who lost their husbands and brothers to the war, gain their trust and help them cope with the losses of the losing loved ones. She would invade victims' families using her powerful control spells as the helpful neighbor and suck them dry of youth. Unfortunately, war ended very quickly and back in 1918 she was on the streets again, but that gave Gladys an idea to continue working as a lively nanny. By 1939, another global conflict struck the world, and Gladys by the age to 50s, she knew she needed to use this opportunity as much as she can to rejuvenate further. During the prosperous 4 years run from 1941 to 1945, she managed to get back to the 40s looks. But once the war ended, she had to go back to the nanny's job again. Rapid expenditure of the technologies made Gladys' job harder to drain victims' youth without notice, and that forced Gladys to move all over the Pennsylvania and avoid communities during the post-World War II period. Gladys wasn't successful of finding Samantha, and during the following decades it was driving her to depression. It was harder and harder to find victims, and her aging kept progressing, as by the late 1990s her body reached 60s looks. Until one day she saw Samantha on television on a TV show. She looked as old as Gladys in her 60s, but surrounded with her husband. That made Gladys very angry. It looked like Samantha was actually living her life and mating with a peasant humans instead of revenging her mother and Beatrice. Gladys was raging. By this time Gladys became a very powerful witch, and she promised to use her all power to find Samantha and confront her. Gladys tracked down Samantha in Georgia, and one day she showed up in front of her porch dressed as good old Auntie Gladys. Samantha couldn't believe her eyes. It was her long-lost sister Gladys. She wanted to hug her, but Gladys was not falling for it. She accused her of betraying her family and having a husband. Samantha was defending herself that was long time ago and that she moved on and just wanted to grow old, and she was tired of using other people's to live longer. She just wanted to grow old and die surrounded by people who love her. That didn't sit well with Gladys, and Gladys promised to kill her husband if she will not go to her senses. Gladys was more powerful witch than Samantha. She never stopped practicing witchery, and Samantha looked like she was no match for her. But Samantha didn't take Gladys' threats lightly. She tricked Gladys of convincing her that she will go with Gladys and they'll live together, but tranquilized her and injected her with a powerful deadly witchery tonic. that they learned back in the days when their mother taught them witchery. The tonic was causing body to slowly consume itself, in other words creating an artificial cancer. Samantha threatened Gladys to never approach her again, even if she managed to survive this cancer, and she will kill Gladys if she will tries to track her down. Gladys was devastated. Not only she was tricked by her younger sister, but also she was poisoned her with a horrible cancer. Gladys didn't have a lot of choice. Her body was weakened and cancer progression meant that she had to now concentrate every little time she had, finding new victims and trying to cure herself with her rejuvenation spells. With raging mind, she had to accept the defeat and try to survive this period. Eventually, Gladys had to use her black magic to trick people into believing she was their relative and use them as their victims. Few more decades passed and now Gladys reached her long-forgotten hometown, Maybrook. Her physical body crossing 80s and having terminal cancer, she ended up in Lily's family home. In the next episode, we will come back to the BLS Murder Finale, so stay tuned for more.